All right. BCA-101 Introduction to Computers. We're in our second week. This is a Tuesday-Thursday class. We did some examples with the machine. We actually looked at the task manager and some of those items. We reviewed some of these items that we talked about before. I've got the cloud over there. I didn't draw everything in. We talked about logging in. I talked about loading the operating system, the OS. I mentioned briefly ROM, read-only memory, in which we have a special kind of software, sometimes called firmware, that gets loaded when you first boot the computer. Then the operating system gets loaded, and then we log in. We authenticate when we log in, and then we're authorized, based on our login, to access certain things. And then that's where we use the example of the H drive, to where you can have access to some specific area on a server and other people can't get to it because you're authorized to be there and others are not. And we can do that through the network. Okay? Then we got talking about applications and data files, and we looked at some examples, and I pulled up some data files and I opened an application. We used Microsoft Word as the application, and then we looked at some data files. And then we looked at how can you tell if a data file belongs to a certain application, and you can tell by those three letters. For example, this is a JPEG, and we know that is some type of image. Okay, so Microsoft, we have the DOC, so we know it's a doc, and we looked at one that was a spreadsheet, XLS, and so forth. So the data files then match up with a particular application. Then we got talking in general why some applications work with some computers and some with not, so that led us to talking about hardware and software. Hardware is the actual equipment. Software are the instructions that tell the equipment what to do. The software is what accomplishes our task, whatever that might be, using technology, using any computing device. Okay? So then we have two basic areas of software. We have system software that works through the hardware to make it do what we want it to do. The one more specific that we talk about in class is the operating system, like Windows 7, or the operating systems on Apple computers, or Linux, or you might even talk about the difference between a Droid and an iPhone. Okay? Applications, or apps, work through the operating system, and then the users use the applications. Okay? So the applications are what we use to do the task we want done, but the applications work through the operating system, and the operating system tells the hardware what to do. A simple example, the operating system keeps track of items that are saved to storage. You know, we've got storage like a hard drive where we store stuff, and then we have the memory, and in order for the computer to process things with the processor, okay, it deals directly with what's in memory. And what manages all that happens within the computer is the operating system. It manages all those hardware things, what we send to the network, what gets sent to the monitor, and so forth. Okay? Now, that's a brief summary of the things we talked about. There were some more details we actually talked about in class, but this would help you at least refresh your memory on what we did today. The students, then also we went through with the students some of the first assignment and how that looks. We didn't quite get to the project, but we'll take a look at the project on Thursday and talk a little bit about that. And Thursday we'll have more time to do work at the end of the session. So that's it for now.